Today we're doing, Today we're doing a review of the BagSmart Blast 43 liter roller backpack. In this video, I'm gonna break this bag down from my experience of having reviewed over 500 of the world's best bags. We're gonna talk about the pros and the cons, we're gonna pack the bag out, and you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sure if this is the bag for you, we'll make some alternative bag recommendations that are gonna be pretty close to this, but offer a few different unique selling points, so you can find the best bag that suits your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the BagSmart Blast 43 liter roller backpack. And it should be noted, this is a sponsored review, but here at Nomads Nation, sponsored reviews do not mean a positive review. All it means is that BagSmart got to pick their publish date. And the reason being, we have dozens of bags right over there that we have to review. And if brands want to kind of jump the line, that's what we offer sponsored reviews for. But as you will see in this video, we're very honest with our pros and our cons. And we've gotten semi-familiar with BagSmart over the past few weeks. They're a Chinese company known for making really high quality bags that come in at pretty accessible price points. Some of this bag's top features being a quick access front pocket, a PU coated zipper, which leads to a door-like access to the main compartment, 1, 2, 3, 4 compression straps, a top quick access pocket. We've got a really interesting design on the bottom that gives you storage flexibility. But let's be honest, the star of the show is the fact that this bad boy is a soft shell, two-wheeled suitcase that can also transform into a backpack. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is done correctly, this could be a groundbreaking fusion. But one thing to keep in mind with any fusion product, and by a fusion product, I mean any single product that's trying to do two things simultaneously, is that there are always compromises that have to be made to be able to do both things. And we'll talk about what all those things are throughout this entire video. The bag currently comes in 2 color options. For the dimensions, we're looking at a height of just under 22 inches, a width of around 14 inches, and a fully packed out base depth with the wheel around 9.5 inches. Let me know though, do those dimensions work for your preferred airline or wherever it is that you like to travel? Let me know in the comments below. Now at 43 liters, the size is pretty perfect for what this bag is designed for, which is like week-long trips, I'd say. If you're a super heavy packer, it might not be enough for a couple of days. If you're a super light packer, you can probably travel the world for years on end with a bag this size, but for most people, I'd say it's good for a 5 to 7 day trip. Now, one thing that's gonna about this bag is that when you're wearing it in backpack mode, it's gonna be very heavy, right? Reason being, you got frame, handle, wheels. So for a 43 liter backpack, we're clocked in at 6.5 pounds on scale number 1 and 6.4 pounds on scale number 2, which honestly isn't terrible for the size, but it's just heavier than your typical 40 liter backpacks in a way. This is the Blast roller when it's empty, and this is what the bag looks like when it's fully packed out, being rolled around the city, and being worn on myself and our media manager, Margaret. I'm 5'8", she's 5'2". And we're gonna pack out this bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. And the final note for this gist section is this bag currently runs around 140 USD. And I just wanna let you know that if at any point in this review you wanna make a purchase or you wanna find out more information, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes, especially for BagSmart. But that link also helps us support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the front of the BagSmart Blast 43 liter roller backpack. First up, I think like most BagSmart bags, this bag looks great. It's got a nice aesthetic to it, and this ripstop fabric is gorgeous. Durable, a little bit of a sheen without being too flashy. When you're traveling, you know, you wanna look good, you wanna feel good, but you don't want to attract too much attention to yourself. And a ripstop fabric like this will help you check all those boxes. And also it's strong, like ripstop is literally reinforced stitching. So all those lines that you can see getting real close right there. In case there's a tear in the fabric, that reinforced stitching will hopefully help stop the tear, hence the rip stop. But while I like the fabric, BagSmart's branding, personally not a fan of it. It kind of looks like a, I don't know, like a 90s infomercial. I just don't think it looks good. They had a different logo that was a lot more minimalist. I was a much bigger fan of. In the front, we got some pockets to talk about. Quick access one right here. This has got a microfiber lining, a cheaper one, not the highest quality. You can see right there, definitely gonna be scratch resistant and is plain and simple. A great spot to put your shades. Also should be noted that BagSmart utilize YKK zippers, or do they? Uh-oh, this one doesn't seem to be a YKK. Let me investigate the other ones. All right, so it seems like on this bag, actually, they're not using YKK zippers, which at the $140 price point, I would have liked to have seen, not gonna lie. Moving on, let's talk about this pocket, which is sort of a quick accessy pocket. No internal organization, just a big old sleeve. So for me, a good spot for things that I want faster access to, perhaps a hoodie, a book, or why not both? As you can see, this pocket has some depth to it, so you can fit bulkier bits of gear. And it's interesting because my mind's kind of breaking right now, because I'm trying to think about, do I talk about this in backpack mode or suitcase mode? I guess both. I swear, a pocket like this is really nice when you're in backpack mode because you can swing the bag around to grab what you want. But this thing is huge. Not only is it a 43 liter, which is probably larger than I would swing for an actual travel bag as well, because it's gonna be too big. You're also dealing with additional largeness with this frame that's required to make it a suitcase. This is where you're gonna see this recurring theme, where you're having a 2-in-1, which is going to greatly increase your versatility with what you can do with this bag. But because of that, this bag will never be the best backpack and never be the best suitcase. There's too many compromises that have to be made on both sides to kind of make both work. But I will say, you've got to keep in mind, this is going to be a suitcase first and a backpack way second. I would only use these backpack straps like with desperate times, right? In times where you gotta carry it up a mountain or a flight of stairs, or just every now and then when it's necessary. Because like you saw, that quick swingness, that's not really much of an option, especially when this thing's gonna be fully packed out. It's just gonna be one of the many examples of the compromises that have to be made with this bad boy in backpack mode. But the straps are nice to have. We'll talk about that a bit more in depth 2 sections from now. Speaking of sections, let's jump into the next one. Let's talk about the middle of the BagSmart Blast 43 liter roller backpack. Now, normally I would start with the outside of the middle and then at the end pack it out, but we're gonna get inside the middle first because there's a few functional things that you have to understand about this bag, starting with these guys, which are like little steel rods inside the main compartment. Before we jump into those, you can see we have a compression strap on the top and on the bottom, and a couple of mesh pockets. But these guys are really interesting because in essence, they function with the bottom of this suitcase, which also is quite interesting. I'm gonna give BagSmart props for the innovation. They've created something that's gonna be slightly complex, but does give you some more versatility. Because to me, a lot of suitcases are so hard, right? They're really hard shell. Even the soft ones, right? You'll have like a bottom that's like flat. Sometimes you have to fit these suitcases into smaller areas, whether it's a restriction sizing box or actually overhead, or if you just want to store it in your house. So you can see right here, BagSmart allows the bottom front of this roller to fold into itself. As it folds, it gives you a lot of storage flexibility, both when you're traveling and when you're back home. But then you got these metal rods, which allow you to buckle them on the bottom of the bag to regain that structure for when you want it. Now there's pros and there's cons with this. Pro, like I said, the versatility that it gives you. The con though, it's kind of difficult to get it in. But when you get it, you get it. I got it. And now you can see, remember that little leaning Tower of Pisa action problem we had earlier? Done, handled. The bag has been given structure, the bottom has been flattened. Now we're gonna pack it out to get an idea of how it works in both backpack mode and roller mode. First up, we're gonna throw some packing cubes in here. Now, one thing to note, right? We're dealing with creative solutions to interesting problems by having the fusion design. So we've got these steel rods here providing structure to the bottom, but now they're kind of interfering with the space in the bag. You can see right here, right? So I'm trying to get this packing cube in here and it fits perfectly. But there's kind of some compromised space that may have happened right here. Granted, we can throw other things in there, but this is just kind of like, you know, the name of the game with any fusion product. I've reviewed so many fusion products, whether it's a sling that's also a tech pouch or a backpack that's also a messenger. There's always innovative things happening with these combined products. There's always compromises that have to be made as well. At the top, we're gonna throw a DOP kit, tech pouch, some shoes. You got the internal compression straps. If you wanna cinch your stuff down a bit. You got some slots on the side. You can throw more tech pouches, maybe a little sling. Zipper pocket here could be a good spot for larger things or sometimes just smaller things, right? There's not a lot of pockets. You just wanna throw gum, headphones, whatever in here so it doesn't get lost. 43 liters, feels like we're around the 40 range to be honest. Yeah. And now we've got us a suitcase. The bottom is flat, it's self-standing, it's less backpacky and more suitcasey. Now on the bottom, we have this plastic component right there, helping it self-stand, but obviously adding weight, which you're gonna feel when you're in backpack mode. The wheels themselves feel pretty high quality, smooth roll, but keep in mind at this price point, you're not gonna get like name brand Hinomoto wheels. They make some of the best luggage wheels in the game for brands like Air and Nomadic. These are not Hinomoto level quality, and they don't spin as smoothly, but they do feel like they're extremely durable. Now on the sides, we have the compression straps, which I think are kind of useless in suitcase mode, but might serve a bit more of a purpose in backpack mode. Reason being, you're trying to pull this bottom in, right? But you got these metal rods, which are reinforcing the bottom here. So it's just, we have a lot of features that are potentially fighting against each other. Side handle, really well padded. Reinforced stitching here. I feel like it's not gonna fall out anytime soon. Plenty of room to grab, really nice side handle. Same thing with the top handle, feels nice. Very nice, actually. Let's talk about this water bottle holder, which is kind of one of the cool things about this Fusion is to where like I reviewed, 20, 30 suitcases at this point in time. I don't think any have had like a side water bottle holder, like a backpack, right? So this Fusion has allowed BagSmart to get kind of innovative and, say, hey, who says a suitcase can't have a water bottle holder? Who says that? Just say that, you're dumb. Because BagSmart has proven you wrong. And actually, I think this works just nicely, like really nicely. It looks a little interesting, but hey, who cares about looks? As long as you stay hydrated, am I right? And one nice thing about compression straps is you can actually use them to secure water bottles. So you can take this out, pop it into place, and your water bottle is a little bit more secure in case you find yourself going off-road. Last note, in the middle, we have this top pocket here. In this top pocket, you've got some internal mesh pockets, and then just some lining right here. This could be a good spot for things you want faster access to. Let's say you're going to the airport, you're gonna do some shopping, a reusable tote, perhaps your wallet. Again, quick access for when you're in suitcase mode, very nice. Now, before we move to the next section and talk about the back of this bag, I gotta say, if you're watching this, there's a good chance that you might be a little bit of a gearhead. And if that's the case, I wanted to tell you that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do epic reviews of gear on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can look at me as like your reporter in the field, bringing you the breaking news of what's happening in this absolutely freaking incredible industry. Whether it's new releases, limited edition drops, collabs, bit of industry gossip, and everything in between. So if you wanna keep your finger on the pulse of the best EDC travel gear, like I'm telling you, what's happening in this industry is freaking mind-blowing, and I want you to know what's going on. So be sure to look for this globe emoji in the description below. That's how you can sign up to the Nomads Nation newsletter, and I hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, let's talk about the back of the BagSmart 43-liter Blast Roller Backpack. Starting with the suitcase handle, gets the job done. I say that a lot, gets the job done, because that means, it works as you would expect it to work for the price point. But one thing to note is you only have one setting. Here, see, holes there, no other holes. That is it. Well, two settings technically. This is also a setting. 1, 2, that's it. Doesn't bother me too much, but if you like to have like 13 different settings, depending on your emotional state of the day, that could be a deal breaker for you. Handle feels average for the price point. We got some wiggle going on. What handles do you not really? This handle is telescopic. It is aluminum. Overall, I think it's fine. But moving on to the back though, let's talk about the star of the show. Really the most important reason why you might be interested in this suitcase, because otherwise you can probably get one that's soft shell a little bit cheaper, but you're here because you probably want to pop into backpack mode. One thing I like about the backpack straps is they wide. 3 inches, I'm gonna guess. God, it's like I reviewed 500 bags. I'm so good. 3 inches wide, which is good because this is gonna be a heavier bag. It's not really a bag, it's a freaking luggage. So this extra width in the shoulder straps will give you a bit more comfort. Same thing with the sternum strap, helping you to redistribute the weight. And yeah, all right, we're fully packed out. And I've said the word compromises many times in this video. I know, so there's gonna be compromises. Having said that, it's not comfortable. But like I said, if you keep the mentality that this is a suitcase, and then as numero dos, a very, very distant numero dos, you can pop it into backpack mode for those key experiences when you need it in backpack mode. For instance, I stayed in Philadelphia about 3 months ago. Stayed in an Airbnb, it was a walk-up. I didn't know it was a walk-up. It was like 3 floors, and I had a suitcase at that point in time. And I'm trying to drag this thing up. Plus I had a backpack and a sling. I overpacked for this trip for sure. I had some souvenirs. If I could have just freaking switched my backpack to the front, popped this guy on, oh my God, getting up those stairs would have been so much easier. That's what this is for. Not for, I need to carry this for 3 miles in backpack mode. Just wanna make sure that's clear. And if you're using it for those situations, works nicely. Sternum strap, easily adjustable. I like my sternum strap right here. No dangle stoppers here. So you're like a half protesting today. But there's always dangle to protest somewhere. So we'll keep on the good fight as long as we have to. As I'm wearing this thing for more and more minutes, you can just feel how it's different than an actual backpack. It just doesn't feel like it's flowing with your body quite as well. So the shoulder strap's a little bit harsher. They're coming in at the traps. These are traps, right? Yeah. I gym, bro. I totally gym. Come in at the traps like a bit harsher of an angle than it normally would. And you're not getting quite the super nice ventilated back panel that you normally would with a backpack, right? You get it. It's not the world's greatest backpack, but not as uncomfortable as I thought it would have been. Definitely got the job done. Like I said, for those times when you need it, it's gonna come in handy. And if you really wanna go into backpack mode, you have this guy right here, which you can go ahead and use to cover the wheels. secure it into place via the Velcro. And now the wheels are covered, the bottom's covered. Before I take out the metal rods, if you really want to go into backpack mode for a while. A lot of versatility with this bag, I will not deny that. Let's say you just want to be in suitcase mode. You can go ahead, slide this on up, close that, unhook the shoulder straps here. So you just unclip them and slide them on down the back. And that is the BagSmart roller backpack. We got one quick access side pocket that I missed right here beneath the handle. This is gonna be an RFID pocket with some additional internal organization. The pocket's a little tight. This is a good spot, I think, for your phone or maybe for your passport. Again, I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's tight, so you're not gonna fit a lot of stuff in there, but like, again, we're applying backpack theory to suitcase execution. And it's made some really interesting stuff. Whether it's the water bottle holder on this side, the passport pocket there, the quick access on the top, this bag's pretty cool, not gonna lie. But real fast, if you wanna hear more than just my opinion on this bag, I highly suggest checking out the Nomads Nation subreddit. We put together one of the biggest communities of bag lovers and gear lovers on the web, so you can ask any questions you might have about this bag there as well. Any other bags, be sure to check it out. Okay, let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the BagSmart Blast 43-liter roller backpack. Pro number one, I think it's so cool it's a suitcase with a water bottle holder. Why haven't I seen this before? Pro number two, not that expensive. And pro number three, extremely versatile in the fact that it can be both a suitcase and a backpack. But on the flip side, I got cons. And my first con is the flip side of the versatility as to where you get a lot of complications and compromises because of that. Con number two is just to emphasize on that point, in backpack mode, it's not gonna be super comfortable for long periods of time. Con number three is the handle. You only get one setting, which I know, not ideal for a suitcase in 2025. Give me more settings, BagSmart. But if you're still here and you've weighed the pros and the cons, it's a good chance you're thinking about making a purchase. And if that's the case, just a reminder, we highly recommend doing so with the first link in the description, just because that link makes sure that you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, which we usually do for BagSmart, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, I'm gonna give you a few alternatives so you know all the best options on the market. Alternative suggestion number one is going to be the Bellroy Lite carry-on. Great pick for you if you're totally digging a soft shell suitcase, but you want one that's got a bit more panache to it. And you don't mind if it doesn't go into backpack mode. And alternative recommendation number two is going to be the Airback Max. Great pick for you if you got a bit more of a budget. You want a suitcase that can also be worn in backpack mode, but you also want vacuum sealed compression, which I have mixed feelings on, but I do know a lot of people are a big fan of it. Honestly, all three bags are pretty cool, bringing different things to the table and have their own unique set of pros and cons. And to learn more about the alternatives, just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let us know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.